Picard introduced and quickly killed Star Trek's most toxic love story. Star Trek has always been a universe of ideals, exploration, morality, and the pursuit of understanding across species and cultures. And yet, even in a cosmos guided by logic and virtue, romance has often been its most volatile and unpredictable element. Jean-Luc Picard, the ever-diplomatic Starfleet captain, is rarely associated with sparks flying, yet in Star Trek, Picard, the franchise briefly introduced what might go down as its most toxic love story, and then destroyed it before it could truly breathe. The setup was deceptively simple. Picard, a man defined by intellect, honor, and emotional restraint, found himself confronted with an ex-lover from his past. This woman, enigmatic, brilliant, and utterly charming, was positioned as someone who could challenge the captain in ways that went beyond debate over starship protocol or philosophical quandaries. In a universe where alien threats and galactic crises dominate, romance is often a side note. Here, it became an emotional crucible. The tension was palpable. Picard's stoic exterior met a mirror image of desire and danger, a pairing primed for disaster. What made this relationship so toxic wasn't just the personalities involved, but the timing. Picard was already weighed down by guilt, past trauma, and the overarching shadow of the synthetic crisis that loomed over the galaxy. He wasn't emotionally available in a healthy sense. The ex-lover, meanwhile, had her own agenda, a mix of unresolved feelings and self-serving motives. From the very first scene, it was clear these two were combustible. Their interactions carried a magnetic pull, but underneath it lay manipulation, insecurity, and emotional volatility. It was less a romance than a collision course. Fans immediately recognized the warning signs. Every conversation dripped with tension. Every lingering glance hinted at manipulation, and every moment of vulnerability revealed mutual dependence that was unhealthy. Picard, normally the master of emotional control, found himself unmoored. This was a rare vulnerability for the captain, but unlike other Trek romances, like Riker and Troy's gradual, evolving love, this was designed to burn fast and hard. Toxicity here was written in the stars, and the audience could see the impact forming long before the characters did. And then, just as the relationship began to unfold, the writers did something unexpected. They killed it. Not literally. No bodies were involved. But narratively, the story was extinguished. The toxic relationship, full of dramatic potential, was deliberately cut short. Picard's ex-lover exited. Unresolved tensions left dangling in midair, leaving Picard and viewers reeling. It was abrupt, almost surgical, a masterstroke of storytelling that reinforced a central truth about Picard. He can recognize toxicity and, despite personal longing, remove it from his life. Why would the writers make this choice? Partly, it's a reflection of Picard himself. Unlike other captains, he doesn't chase personal satisfaction at the expense of duty or moral clarity. A toxic relationship, even one brimming with passion, cannot coexist with his sense of responsibility. By ending it quickly, the show reinforced that Picard's emotional world is not a playground for indulgence. It's a space for integrity, reflection, and measured action. Romance can exist, but not at the cost of self-destruction or moral compromise. Yet, there's a deeper resonance here. The story was toxic not because it lacked chemistry, it had plenty, but because it mirrored real human dynamics. In life, we often encounter relationships that are thrilling, seductive, and ultimately harmful. Star Trek has rarely acknowledged this level of emotional realism. Most love stories in the franchise emphasize destiny, growth, or mutual support. Here, we were confronted with a narrative that was messy, alluring, and damaging all at once. A reminder that even the galaxy's most principled figures can flirt with disaster. The brevity of the storyline added to its impact. By introducing the romance and then swiftly ending it, the show created an emotional shockwave. Viewers were teased with what might have been a powerful, dangerous, and compelling love story, only to have it ripped away. In doing so, the writers underscored an essential Star Trek theme. True wisdom often comes from restraint. Knowing when to act is important. Knowing when to walk away can be even more heroic. Picard, in recognizing the danger and removing himself, demonstrated courage of a subtler, quieter kind. In the end, this fleeting romance left an indelible mark. It was a toxic love story without resolution, a narrative almost too dark for the franchise, but perfect for Picard. It reminded us that even in the utopian corridors of starships and alien world, human emotions remain unpredictable, complicated, and sometimes destructive. Picard's brief dalliance with toxicity was not just a plot point. It was a meditation on self-awareness, emotional boundaries, and the cost of desire. Star Trek has long been about exploring the final frontier, but occasionally, it looks that